1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, drop a number 1 in the box. If you can hear me, drop a number 1 in the box. All right, excellent. Once again, good evening, everybody. This is the start of an amazing week. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. This is the start of our week Zoom calls. Today, Zoom call is going to be on mindset. Guys, mindset is so important. And it's so important for us to start the week with the correct mindset. If there's nothing that you want to do, is personal development and understand the power of the mind. Tomorrow, we'll have our traders training. Wednesday is our weekly event. Thursday is how to grow the business. Friday is our launch, and Sunday is our Zoom. So I'd like to welcome everybody across the 3 continents. Welcome to this amazing call. Now, we have a very special individual who's going to be leading out on this call tonight. Now, this individual is a mother, a wife, a business entrepreneur, a brand specialist. She's got so many skills and knowledge in the world of personal development, a lifestyle, and a life coach. Now, when I was introduced to her, it was such an honor and a privilege to be able to just dialogue with her, pick her brains, and just talk about and hear her experience and her story. Her story, for those of you who have heard her story, is absolutely amazing. Now, to get her to partner up on this business was something that really excited my soul, because I knew that when she comes, what she's going to add and what she has added will be nothing less but phenomenal. So it's an honor and a privilege to actually have her leading out on this Zoom call tonight. Now, over the years, she has been a trainer of individuals from the groups of 50 all the way to 2,000. And she's used her skills and her resources and her expertise to help skill, empower, and grow people from around the world. So I'm not going to take up much of her time, but all I will say is to get your notepads and pens ready. They say that when we listen to things, we're going to only retain 20 to 30% of that information. Now, what we're about to learn today, we don't want to retain 20 to 30%, but we want to return up to 80 to 100%. So don't just come on here and just listen, but make sure that you take notes, because the note takers are the money makers. And we're here to expand our mind, how powerful it is to be able to achieve whatever we put our minds to achieve. So without further ado, guys, if you're excited to be on this call, if you're excited for me to introduce our speaker today, I want you to put a number 7 in the box. Let me see number 7s. I know they're coming to me privately, but let me see them. Absolutely amazing. I can see them. 7s are just buzzing. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, put your virtual hands together and let's make some noise for the one they call Miss Nikki Knows Now. Over to you, Nikki. Let me just unmute her. Where's Nikki? There you are. Unmute. Excellent. Over to you, Nikki.
Hey, can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, excellent. Hey, people. Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to your mindset call, your Monday mindset call. Thank you for the introduction, Mike. You know, I'm still happy and grateful that you spent those 6 hours motivating and working on my mind to join this opportunity, because I tell you what, we are changing lives daily. So I'm so grateful and honored to be under your leadership, and I thank you every single day. I got a little extra bounce in my step today, but we will keep it moving. We won't be dwelling on that so far. So I just want to say hello to everyone. Mike, is there any way that I'm able to see the chat? Okay, got it. You're one step ahead of me. Perfect. So yes, so today is our Monday mindset call, and it's so important that as Mike said, we work and focus on our mindset. You know, one time I had something going on, and I never forget, Mike, you might not remember this, but you said to me, train your mind, Nikki, train your mind to think of the positive outcome. And it was so weird to hear the person who normally motivates getting that motivation from someone else, reminding me that I train this stuff every single week, every day of my career, but yet still I still needed that reminder to train my mind. And it's like, how do we train our mind? Is it even possible to train your mind to be thinking of the positive outlook? And even when you can't see what you envision and what you think should be happening, is it possible to train your mind? And that is what this call is going to be about. So yes, we need to have our notepads and pens open. I'm going to give a little bit of theory, but mainly what I want to do is to let you leave this call with some tangible actions that you can take away today and start to implement immediately to start to train your mind so that you can be thinking positive, behaving positive, and of course getting positive results off the back of it. So if you're excited to hear that, let me just test out that we all know where the chat function is. Just pop a number 1 in the chat function, just so I can see that we are all ready to activate our mindset, to put tangible things in place to really help us to be positive, especially in those negative situations, or those situations where we feel like we don't really know what's going on. Because let's be honest, we all have those days. Every single one of us wake up on a day and think, oh my God, can I really do this? Is this something that I'm supposed to do? Am I doing the right thing? Did I really invest my money into this? Can I really do this? Is the returns going to come? Every single one of us at some point had that conversation, but it's how long we have that conversation for in our mind. How long do we have that conversation before we can overturn that feeling? So the first thing I want us to really talk about, and it's going to be the topic of this whole call today, is going to be motivation. How do we motivate ourselves? How do we motivate our minds to be thinking positive in all situations, in situations that look bleak, in situations that don't look like what we know we've been called for and the purpose of our life? So what I want us to do, we're going to be exercising that chat function quite a lot. So the first thing I want us to put in that chat function, what is motivation? Just write in your own words. And on this call, there's no right or wrong answer. What is motivation? And I'm going to give you some moments just to have a think about what we think motivation is. Go straight ahead in that chat box. What is motivation? Okay, they're starting to come through now. Excellent. Some of you are sending it to me personally, I think. Some are going straight to the group, but that's fine. Okay, so motivation, we've got drive, strength. What keeps you going in hard times? Your why. I like that one, your why. The force, the drive to keep you pushing through no matter the obstacles. When you're able to have a goal and work out a way to get there. My family. See what else we got coming through. A deadline. I like that one. How many of us at college or uni, didn't start that, those papers until the last week? That was definitely motivation. Having a deadline, persistence, confidence, being stimulated, all of the above. I'm seeing loads coming through. Exactly, a choice. Motivation's a choice. Very interesting one there. The reason for your motivation, encouragement, love it all. So I'm going to read you a definition. And if you went onto Google, you'll find thousands of definitions of what motivation is. But one of them I found on there was motivation is a general desire, need, or want that generates the energy for someone to behave in a particular way. So I'll repeat that again. It's a general desire, need, or want that generates energy for someone to behave in a particular way. So what we're basically saying is motivation breeds action. Now, that doesn't mean it could be positive motivation, it could be demotivation. But motivation breeds action. Motivation pushes you to do something or to not do something. And there's two types of motivation. We've got the internal motivation, and we also have the external motivation. So the internal motivation is like our values, our desires, our morals, things that we've always dreamed about, our internal passions, our goals. And then you have external motivation, which is outside or external factors like the environment and stuff like that. So for example, if you were in a burning building and there's a fire, you're going to be motivated to get out of that building as fast as you can. That is an external motivation. If you currently work a 9 to 5 or you're in an employment where they offer incentives, that is an external motivation. If I said to you, on this call, the first 10 people to put a flame in the group, I will personally give them £500. That is an external motivation. That's not a part of your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. I was waiting for that to come. There's no £500. So nice one, Asher and Lavinia. You're straight off the mark. But yeah, they are external motivations. Your internal motivations are things that you've been passionate about, things that are internal inside of you that you've always wanted to achieve, that keep you going every single day. And the key to this motivational thing is to understand what's happening around you externally, so your environment, and how do you link your environment to your internal values, dreams, and goals and morals. So how do you combine both things in order to keep you motivated? And we'll come to some of the solutions about that in a moment. So when it comes to motivation, we've always had a debate about money and motivation. So I just want a yes or no in the chat function. Is money a motivator? And just put yes or no. If you believe it is, it's a yes. No, if it's not. Is money a motivator? Let's see what we've got here. Does money motivate us? Got to some extent, yes. Quite a few yeses. Can be. It can be, depends. Melissa straight on in there, no. It's what you can do with the money. Got, of course, yes. So we've got a few yeses and a few no's. The things you use for it. All right, so if we have a look at this, okay. Money itself, to me, I don't believe is a motivator for the majority of people. Some people can be highly motivated by money. So if I said, I'll use that example again. If I said, pop a flame in the group right now, and I'll give you £500, the first 5 people, a lot of people will just do it off the cuffs, yeah? If I said every single day for the next month, I want you to be on that Zoom call and pop a flame in the group, I can guarantee you a lot more people would drop off. Why? Because after a week or so, people get tired. It's not enough to keep them motivated. I've run so many competitions, I've run so many incentives with people in my team, and they do not perform based on monetary reward most of the time. Most of the time, the money doesn't get people motivated. Some of you who work, you may have incentives at work, you may have, when on payday, do you work harder the day before your pay than on the day you get paid? Do you work harder the day after when that check comes into your account or that balance goes in? So some of us, and then there is a minority of people that are actually motivated solely by money. Just knowing that money is available will push them every single day. But there's been some research showing that majority of us are not really motivated by the money itself. It's actually what the money can bring or the things that we can buy with that money. A lot of us are not motivated. Some of us are motivated by other things. And it's interesting if we think that we're motivated by money, because if we don't even know what we're motivated by, how do we then turn around and motivate ourselves if we don't know what really is our motivation? So what I'd like you to do is really have a think about it. And you don't have to put it in the chat box if you want. Feel free to put it in the chat box. But I want you to write down 2 things that is your motivator. So what really motivates you? What would be those 2 things that would not stop you from doing something, no matter how much the adversary comes your way? If you can put it in the chat function and you're happy to, please do share it in the chat function. 2 things that currently motivate you. 2 things. And try to be as specific as you can. As specific as you can. Okay, we've got an interesting one there. Pain. Family. My daughter, parents, future. I want us to really start thinking outside the box. Ability to put a smile on my mum's face. History. What are the things that motivate us? What are the things that will no matter what happens, will keep us going? Waking up, knowing what's coming, getting out of debt, children, energy that's with me. We've got quite a few coming through. So what I want you to do is, although you've written those in the chat function, and they may change and you may want to change them, I want you to have that note in your phone or on your notepads or whatever you're taking notes with right now. I want you to write down those 2 things that motivate you. Write them down. Write them down so you can look at them. And that's your purpose. They're the 2 things that are driving you right now. 2 things that motivate you currently. Those 2 things are what's driving you right now. It's interesting, in that list that I've received, both in my personal and the one that's there, not one person has put money per se. Very interesting that we've got that. So the first action for the call today is for you to write down 2 things that motivate you. 2 clear things that motivate you. I want to show you a little bit of theory again. Just very interesting. I'm going to go through it quite quickly, but it might be something that you want to look into a little bit more. So, Mike, if you can get that picture up, if possible. Fantastic. So we just now talked about the definition, one of the definitions that I found on motivation. And what we've got here is that definition saying that it's a general desire, need, or want that generates energy for someone to behave in a certain way. Now, there's a gentleman called Maslow. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but he's got this this hierarchy of needs, which is what you can see on your screen now. It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and feel free to Google it. Now, I use this one. He's actually put a latest one out with 7 laws of hierarchy, but we'll stick to the 5. I'm not going to go too deep into that. But what I want you, the main basis of me just showing you this is so that you can see on there where the needs that you currently focus on actually sit on the laws of needs. So right at the bottom, which is where all of us genuinely, should tick these boxes, which is this, the physiological needs. So this is the need to have food, water, rest, sleep, all that kind of stuff. If you had no food, your belly starts rumbling, and you are motivated when you come home to go straight to that fridge and eat something, or go to the microwave and warm up your yesterday's dinner, or start cooking. You're motivated to do something because it is a physiological need for you to do that. Most of us have those needs on a day-to-day basis, and we do them quite naturally. It then moves on to the next one, which is your safety needs. And again, these are both in the basic section because most of us do it. And that's the need to feel safe, secure, feeling secure, feeling that we're in a safe place. I know that some of the things that I've been through in life, especially when I was burgled, I had the need to feel safe. So what that meant was I then purchased burglars alarms, and I then purchased cameras, and I put those things in place because I have a need to feel safe. And again, this is quite low in the theory where it comes to those first two steps. We then move on to the next two steps, which again, I'm just going to brush through them quite quickly, which is the belongingness and love needs. And that's the need to feel loved, the need to have intimate relationships, the need to have friends, the need to feel like you've got that sense of belonging somewhere. And it doesn't have to be a partner, it could just be a friendship. And we have those needs, we all have those needs where we just want to pick up the phone and have a chat with one of our friends, or we just want that, especially when I'm sick, I know I just want that, that comfort from my husband to just make me feel that a little bit better. That is a need that we possess. And if we don't get if these needs are not fulfilled, there are outcomes on the back of it. We can react, and this is what we're talking about when it comes to motivation. We are motivated by these needs. And then we've got the esteem needs, prestige and feeling of accomplishment. So this is how not to put in one box, but low self-esteem can come into it. If we're not fulfilling those esteem needs, we can start to feel low self-esteem, start over analyzing things, thinking things. So it's important we understand those needs as well. Now, right at the top, you've got the self-actualization. Now, this is all about reaching your potential. Now, bearing in mind, this need is on the top of the pyramid, which is basically suggesting, and then there are other two that's been put in between esteem and self, and one more above. But this is suggesting that this is actually, the desire for this is not as great as the ones below. This is something that you have to almost work on. This is something that you have to keep going, because this need is not a need that is automatic. It's not something that will just fall in your lap. This is something that the desire for this is not as much as the people below. The desire for this is for people that are hungry, for people that constantly push, because you can very easily forget that need at the top and only work on the two below, the last two. So it's really important that we understand on the needs thing is that motivation and the needs are aligned. So how do we align how do we align the needs with our motivation? First of all, we have to understand exactly what actions we have to take in order to fill the needs that we currently have. So not only do we understand, and thanks, Mike, you can take this down. If anyone wants to screenshot this or have a look, you can just find this online. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can type in the 5 laws or the 8 laws and it will come up. Yeah, thank you. But not only do we have to understand, what motivates us in order to link those in with our needs, we also have to understand what demotivates us. Because a lot of the time we work on motivation of ourselves, but we don't actually work on what demotivates us. So for example, you could have something that motivates. You could have a long list of all the things that motivate you and work on those and work on those and work on those all the time. But then the things that are demotivating you, which are overpowering your motivation, are still there. So what I want us to do in the chat box, I just want you to put in the chat box one thing that is a demotivator, one thing that demotivates you, and I'd like you to put that in the chat function. Demotivation. What are the things that potentially could demotivate you? Lack of results. When plans don't work. Negative words. Here we go. Rejection, failure, negative people. We've got rejection coming out a few times. My bank account being minus at the end of the month. Yeah. Rudeness, negative people, negative talk from family, pressure, lack of clarity. Poor. Toxic environment, definitely. Working for the sake of a 9 to 5. It's interesting though that some of the things that demotivate us, we still get up and do it. So working for the sake of a 9 to 5, I'll use that one as an example. It's a demotivator. It literally kills us. We hate it so much, but the motivation for going overpowers the demotivator because we want to get paid. So we want to be able to, do the things that we've planned for at the end of the month when that salary comes in, or it has overpowered the demotivator. No matter how much you hate it, no matter how much you can't stand it, you still drag yourself there because of the fact that the motivation is stronger than the demotivation. Unless you're like some of us who was like, hell no, we ain't going back, no matter what. And then we will motivate ourselves even more to find something else. But the majority of us want to do this gradually and want to do this, in an order where we can feel comfortable. So the demotivation doesn't actually outrank the motivation. And I think the key to this is understanding what are the demotivators and what do you have to do in order to remove some of those demotivators and increase some of your motivations, increase some of the things that will motivate you. And how do we tap into that? And I'm going to give you some key things at the end of this call. Now, it's interesting we had a lack of clarity as well, because one of the things, or two things, and I want you to write this down, 2 things that are linked directly with your motivation, only 2 things I'd say, is clarity and capability or ability. 2 things. These are the 2 key things: clarity and capability. So generally, if you are not clear on something, it will demotivate you. And if you don't feel that you're capable of something, it will demotivate you. These are the only 2 things generally that can affect your motivation. So if we reverse that in another order and say, okay, well, if these are the 2 things, that can affect my motivation, what do I need to do? I need to make sure I'm A, clear, and B, capable. So how do we make sure, let's work on the first one. How do we make sure that we are clear on what it is that we're doing? No matter what it is that we're trying to do, how do we make sure that we're clear on it? In the chat box for me, please. How do we make sure that we're clear on things when we are doing them? Because if we know point blank that clarity and capability are the 2 things that directly affect our motivation, what do we need to do in order to be clear on something? And what do we need to do to be capable? So keep doing them over and over again. Practice, reminding ourselves daily of our goals. What else? Setting goals for a start, definitely. So creating goals. Putting a plan together. Having that focus on your why. Now, these things may sound simple. You may say to yourself, I have heard all of this before. None of this is new. Ask someone who's achieved. Affirm ourselves daily. Love that. You may be saying that to yourself on this call right now, but I challenge you that if you are not doing this stuff every single day, if you are not doing this stuff every single day to the best of your ability every single day, you are not doing it at the moment. So I want you to realign. I want you to change. I want you to start getting in touch with training your mind, getting in touch with controlling your own motivation. That outside influences cannot affect your motivation, because in fact, you are in control of your motivation. You are in control. Why? Because you're going to put some strategic steps in place to be in control of your motivation. So fully understanding what you're doing, how you should be doing it. And how do we do that? Fully understand. That's by seeking training, attending events, doing reading books, going online, taking in information. Clarity is one of those things that you can fix it quite simply as long as you keep seeking. Seek information. Become clear on your goals. Some people say they know their goals, but actually they don't really know their goals. They don't really know what motivates them. So the first goal that I set was to understand what motivates yourself. Really deep-rooted motivation. What is it that gets you out of bed every single day? What is your motivation? Because your goals are linked to that motivation. And then when you understand what your motivation is, you're going to write down your goals. Now, not just any kind of airy, fairy, fluffy goal. You're going to really break it down. Be strategic about that goal. So what is the goal? How do you achieve it? And by when are you going to achieve it? So you're really going to make it a specific goal. For those people in training, you might have heard of the SMART analogy, which is make it specific, measurable, achievable, I can't even spell now, realistic and timely. So make your goal a SMART goal. I'll say that again: specific, measurable, achievable. Someone help me out. Realistic and timely. There you go. I'm running off my head here. That wasn't even in my notes. That was just a throw-in. So make your goals SMART. Understand exactly what your goals are, and then understand the purpose of your goals. So the purpose of your goals most of the time are not for yourself. That most of the time they're not to benefit you. They are to benefit somebody else, or another generation, or another town, another city, a charity. That most of the time our goals have knock-on effects. They're legacy stuff here. So what you do is going to have a direct impact, not just on yourself. So when you realize that, your goals become so much more stronger, because you're less likely to quit when you understand that the purpose of your life is not just for yourself. The purpose of your life is for others. So you have to break down your goals really specifically so you understand exactly what those goals are. Once you've worked out your goals, you're then not only going to set those goals daily, but you're going to break it into weekly, monthly, yearly. So you're really clear on what those goals are. And then you're going to plan those things out. So you've set your overall goal, but then have you really put a plan in place? So are you really saying to yourself, okay, in order for me to hit this weekly goal, these are the things that I have to do daily. In order for me to hit this yearly goal, these are the things that we have to do monthly. So when we're talking about motivation, it's very easy for us to attend defense and, put our phones up and go, let's go, chairman, 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 chairman. But after all the hype and the singing and the chairman and the, yeah, bro, yeah, girl, whatever, what are you actually doing every day? If you keep saying every day, this year I'm going to be chairman, but you haven't actually set a plan to be chairman, I'm not going to break your bubble, but you ain't going to be chairman. So what are you going to do every single day that links into your weekly goal, that links into your yearly goal? So when you've got the overall vision, you break that vision down into goals, and you break those goals into plans, and you break those plans into activities every single day. So I want to challenge your mindset, and it's the same with the mindset. So we're talking about goals, but bearing in mind your mindset needs to be trained in order to achieve this stuff. So understanding, what does your mind need? What does your mind need? I'm going to give you a few tips before I close off now. So understanding your motivators, write this down. You need to understand your motivators, but also I challenge you to understand your demotivators. Understand what demotivates you so that you can begin to put a plan in place to eliminate those demotivators. Once you've understood that, then what I want you to do, some easy tips for me, things that you can do straight away, is go to your phone. I want you to write this down. Set an alarm on my phone. Set an alarm on your phone daily so that it pops up on your phone. What's your motivation today? Ask yourself, challenge yourself daily. And I'm going to get onto accountability in a moment. Challenge yourself daily. Have reminders. We talk about vision boards. We talk about post-it notes. You know, some people have stuff printed in their bathrooms, all sorts. Have reminders, affirmations into what it is that you're going to be doing daily. Tell yourself every single day. Have an alarm on your phone. Book time in with yourself. So once a month, book time in. Let it pop up on your phone. Book out an hour for yourself to sit down and to ask yourself challenging questions. Where's my mind at today? What do I need to do? Book time in to read books. It's important to feed your mind with the right information to motivate yourself to understand. If you're a Christian, when do you read your Bible? Same if you're Muslim, Quran, and any other religions or faiths out there. Do you book this time in? Just as if you was going to go to the doctor's appointment, you book it in. So why wouldn't you book in an appointment with yourself, mindset, to tell yourself, to trigger yourself, I'm going to see myself today so I can sit down an hour by myself and understand where I'm at. And then lastly, an accountability partner. So have someone, so the same way we have accountability partners for so many other things, we have gym partners when we want to go to the gym. Have an accountability partner, buddy up with someone and say, can you check up on my mind next month? See where I'm at. Because our mind is the key to everything. Some of us, you know, we've given up. Some of us have given up because we can't see what is actually going to happen. But guess what? If we can train our mind not to give up, and we can train our mind to do the right steps every single day, the results will come. So it has to start with the mindset first. It has to start with motivation. Motivation is the key. What motivates us to get up and make a telephone call? What motivates us to run an event? What motivates us to actually trade? What motivates us to do what we need to do? So what I want to challenge you, those points, those questions I've asked you, I want you to ask yourself those questions and book time in. So actually take some time out. Use your phone. You know, we say our phones are smartphone. Our phones are quite smart. We can tell our phones to remind us to do anything we want and get our phones to help us control our minds. Set alarms on your phone. Remind yourself and book time in for yourself. Because if you don't do this, what happens is, going back to that hierarchy of needs, is we'll be just feeding the bottom two needs and we're not feeding our desires, and then we become demotivated. By the definition of the motivation, it's a need that generates energy. So if we don't generate the energy, we will start to feel demotivated. So I hope this call has been beneficial to you, and I hope you've got even one nugget that you can take away. It's some of the things that I've been doing, and it really helps. And you know, most of our behaviors you know, are linked to our motivation, and I thought it was really important that we work on our motivation today, because a lot of people I'm seeing are demotivated at the moment and don't want to say it, you know. And it's important that we reach out. It's important that we say, hey, I am feeling demotivated, but what can we do about it? Just like when I said to my mentor, this is what's going on, Mike turned around to me and he said to me, train your mind. Even the best of us still need to be motivated. Even the best of us still need to remind ourselves of the promises that we have and the things that are over our lives. So it's important that we reach out. Don't suffer in silence. Don't just have your account, you know, unsubscribed and cancel and just run away. We all feel like that, but what we need to do is remember the promises. Remember what our goal and remember what our drive is, and then we can turn around and actually train our minds to have the motivation that we need to succeed. So Mike, I'll hand back to you. But thank you everyone for your participation. I'm seeing loads of messages in the group. I thank everyone for your attention this evening, and I'm looking forward to hearing some really positive outputs of what we've done to really train our mind to be motivated, even in situations where we feel like we shouldn't be. So thank you, people.